What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, in this video, we are talking about Elon, Vivek, and the DOGE. Uh, we're gonna get into this new agency, um, and what potentially they might go after. So yeah, if you like his content, please thank you. Thank you. Please thank you for liking it. And please subscribe, share, like, comment, all that good stuff. Check out my other channels. You can't see me do that, but my other channel is JMDPLAY. Check out the Discord. Do the one-time donation, or up above, you can go to JMD Nation, Patreon, $3 a month. Blah blah blah. You know that good stuff. Anyways, anything you do will help very much, and it's very much appreciated. So, uh, all right. So we've been going all along, like seeing Elon. He's been in the whole, from before the uh, election, before the election and stuff. He was on the campaign trail with Trump, uh, doing his Elon Muskian stuff, and so it was all questionable. Well, before even the election, they kind of had threw around this DOGE thing, which is short for Department of Government Efficiency. So, and this is sort of a play off of the Dogecoin in cryptocurrency and stuff. This is Elon's little, how he likes to play off of shit. Anyways, so he, and this has come. This is coming to fruition. See, the thing is okay. So Donald Trump has his team has announced that Elon and Vivek, remember that guy, who tried to go for presidency, they're both uh, entrepreneurs, right? I mean, they have businesses. Elon, of course, is way bigger than Vivek, but they have, they're both entrepreneurs, and so they much both have a lot to gain from having some sort of sway, just like all millionaires and billionaires and stuff in politics, to help themselves out in any way they possibly can. And they have been announced as co sort of whatever runners, co heads, I guess, of this Department of Government Efficiency, which, it's kind of funny in itself, because, as like I think it was Elizabeth Warren kind of pointed out, it's funny to have a Department of Government Efficiency and then have co-heads of it. A department where it would be efficient to only have, one person run it, but you've got two people running it. It's kind of ironic, and not very good for efficiency right off the bat. But anyways, let's throw that little funny thing aside. But they have, and as this little, well, anyways, so they have, the Department of Government Efficiency. So they are going to give basically suggestions, be, people to influence on things that basically to shrink government, from putting it simply, to get rid of different departments, or cut debt and stuff. That's the idea, is to save. Elon's jumped. He's jumped into a couple of different places, and hiring, or I mean, well, not hiring, firing, or reducing down companies or whatnot. I mean, you saw that immediately with Twitter when he changed to X. He fired a whole bunch of people. Cut people, cut it down to basically a bare bone. I mean, which any big CEO. That's like the big thing that they attempt to do. They try to run off the most minimal amount of people they can to, make the company as most efficient and profitable, making money, right? I mean, this is something that even we see. I work in automotive, factory, and this is something that's constantly even, coming up in there, about having to, how we can cut jobs, making you work more, doing more work to make the business run efficient, not necessarily you run efficient. um, uh, Meaning money wise, it cuts head, reduces the bottom line or whatever, reduces the overhead of pay and stuff like that, and just makes them more profitable, right? So it's all about cut. So that's the idea. Is they are going to be sort of liaison, sort of, or like influence to help. Phones over there buzzing somewhere. To help make the government more efficient. But the thing is that this is not technically an official government agency. It's kind of a what I'm coining a vacancy. It's really a fake department that just helps. That's just assisting governmental agencies because technically, and some people have thrown up that this is sort of like a way for Trump to act like, for Trump to kind of throw Elon and Vivek to the side, like he's just like, hey, kind of almost making it sound like he's being like an asshole to him to agree, like somebody undermining him by kind of throwing them over into this agency that really is not an agency, just to kind of keep them off the grid, or to keep them, because there's been a lot of reports coming out that Elon is annoying a lot of the staff and people in the Trump's kind of administration that's being developed or whatever. Like he's always there, and he's annoying some people because he's constantly there and constantly in Trump's ear and blah blah blah. So they're thinking that Trump is even, like, some people are bringing up that Trump is even annoyed or something, or that they assume or think that he's annoyed, and that's the reason why he's put them off into this agency. But I don't think that's really the case whatsoever. I I think he is truly trying to give them. See, technically, they Elon or Vivek, either one, really uh, cannot have technical positions in government because they would have a conflict of interest. In order for them to, just like technically Trump is supposed to sort of, even as a president, even though he didn't do it before, but he's, you can argue a president immunity on that or whatever, that they can do whatever they want. But they're supposed to kind of cut ties, or kind of cut out if they have businesses or whatever, to the conflict of interest issue. But Elon and Vivek both are, like I said, they're entrepreneurs. They have their own businesses that could benefit from any kind of influence they give on government. So technically, it's a conflict of interest for either one of them to have government positions in, the administration. So for them being in a department that is not technically official, not official government business or agency, it's just like a sort of an assistant to sort of side thing over here, department that's not being categorized as a government agency. That sort of bypasses the conflict of interest. That's the idea. And I think that he's purposely done that so that he can have their influence and can have their hands in the government stuff. But legally, it won't. You can't throw up the whole idea of the conflict of interest and whatnot because of their businesses and all that. So they wouldn't have to, whatever. That's what I think. I don't think this is any kind of like shade or anything to Elon or Vivek. I think this is his sort of slick way of getting them in government. So we have a article here. Well, now this guy, whoever this is from. Move my down. There we go. This is from the Wall Street Journal, and the guy that wrote this is opinion piece by Andy Kessler. I don't know who this guy really is. I'm assuming like for the Wall Street Journal, but um, he's clearly on the side of this agency as you read through this. So I'm reading this I'm going through this one on purpose to sort of give you the mindset or the idea behind people who are behind stuff like this, behind cutting and shrinking the government as much as possible. And you'll see what I mean once I get down to where he talks about things that are on the chopping block, basically, and things that could be, or options. So, anyways, all right. So it's Elon time. Make no mistake, the 2024 election is decided on three I's: inflation, indoctrination, or woke smoke, and incompetence. Now comes the fourth incisions. Okay, that's two, not whatever. He's trying to be funny. But anyways, more like hacksaw cutting to the government's overgrowth. Donald Trump has tapped Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to run a Department of Government Efficiency, an oxymoron if I've ever heard of one. Mr. Musk thinks they can save $2 trillion, which he does admit this is a stretch, but hey, he wants you to go for it. He says go for it, and you see he really literally wants them to go for it. The Muskian named Doge is an inside joke based on Dogecoin, the cryptocurrency that Mr. Musk hyped in May 2021, calling himself the Doge Father on Saturday Night Live. The price spiked roughly 1,000% in a month, then crashed about 70% over the next few months. That's the perfect bar set for Mr. Musk. Cut 70% of the government, similar to what which I find funny because the idea here is that he hyped this thing up, but yet it ultimately crashed 70% within the next few months. It's just kind of in my opinion, the idea of Musk. Like things seem to inflate around him, but then quickly deflate after they, realize and he gets things going. Anyways, Mr. Musk could show some commitment by sleeping under the whatever. I'm not worried about that. Out with the woke mind virus and in with the folk unwind virus to attack the bureaucracy. The federal government has around 3 million civilian employees with an average salary of $106,000. Dr. Anthony Fauci made $481,000 in 2022. That's room to cut. There's room to cut. Mr. Trump has said he may close the educational department and move his functions to the states. He says that's a good start. So like I said, this guy is behind cutting the educational department, which we've already discussed. And I just read earlier a piece that kind of broke that down even more on the educational department. And again, the idea to completely cut it out is just impossible. I mean, you can shut the doors on it and, but it's pretty much just going to be a, just talk. It's not, you can't really completely close down the educational department. There's so many facets to it and so many things that, and it's not just all worked within itself. It has connections with other agencies and how they implement all the different things that they do. So the work would have to be allocated to other agencies, which, that's fine, but it's not technically really reducing anything in government. I think it named off like a couple of hundred people actually work in the educational department. So it's not really that big of a cut as far as head to shut it down. But the stuff that is actually, it does, the laws and things that it performs as far as towards education, and assistance to schools and to students and whatnot. That stuff would either have to go through Congress in order to be handled, or would have to basically, Trump could do a executive order, but it really, a lot of it wouldn't be able to be handled. It would take years for it to ever completely, and it would have to be just sort of scaled down and not necessarily, not certain that it could ever be completely eliminated. So it's not like something that could immediately happen anyways, even if you did want to say you're going to completely cut it out. And trying to get the states to completely take over a lot of the assistance and things like that's also in a whole another bag in itself. But anyways, continuing on with this. In tweet length bytes, here's a handy cheat sheet with how Mr. Musk can toss, shrink or squeeze departments, commissions, and agencies. All right, here he starts. Federal Trade Commission, toss. He claiming to toss it. The current FTC under Lena Khan has a worse record than the Chicago White Sox. The FTC already splits antitrust cases with the Justice Department. See, this is another thing. The FTC, if you're looking at it as a whole, as long as it has been running, maybe it does have a bad record. But under Lena Khan, under the period that she has had in control of it, the FTC has actually done a whole lot as far as antitrust cases and trying to break up monopolies and stuff like that. Like there is a great movement going on with that, and they're actually doing great work in the antitrust cases. So this is kind of misleading. If he's taken it as a whole, the FTC probably does have a bad record for what it's technically supposed to do. But like I said, in recent years, as Lena Khan has taken it over, they actually have started acting and performing as they are supposed to. So this is a little misleading. To say to toss it, in my opinion, is actually not very smart. And there is support in some of the Republican circle that of Lena Khan and what she has done with the FTC. So anyway, so move on. So move a few pro-consumer competition lawyers there, and then shutter. Okay. Federal Communications Commission tossed. The FCC caused the .com boom and bust. Net neutrality killed broadband in Europe, yet has still reinstated here under the Biden administration. Spectrum auctions are why we overpay for cell service. Honestly, I don't know what that is about. So this one's hard. I can't really make an argument on this as far as the FCC is concerned. But 3 economists in and back room can create and maintain a set of rules to keep access competitive. Securities and Exchange Commission tossed. The SEC missed the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme, allowed crypto and SPAC pump and dumps, and missed the FTC fiasco. Free trading requires setting and enforcing simple rules. U.S. Department of Agriculture, which actually has a lot to do with student lunches and things like that. The Department of Education actually outsources or works with Department of Agriculture to help in paying for school lunches for kids and things like that for those that are having free lunches and stuff like that. So think about that for a second. As he says, toss it. This will finally end corn subsidies for Iowa and can move food stamp administrations and funding to states. So now he's saying to handle food stamp administrations and stuff completely to the states. And for the states to handle all of that, I mean, that's the thing. They're constantly talking about move everything to the states, move everything to the states, move everything to the states. But which may help as far as the government is concerned and how much the government pays out. So, in theory, you could think, or one would think that, okay, if we reduce reduce all these agencies, reduce all this payout that the government's having to do, then that means the government would need I'm thinking this is the mindset behind a lot of these people. To think, then the government can reduce the amount of baseline taxes that people would need to pay in, because they wouldn't need as much tax revenue to pay for all these different programs and all this different stuff. So that would save people taxes. It would lower people's taxes naturally. That's like what I think of it. But when you're adding everything back to the states, then you are actually making an argument for the states to raise their taxes. Now, there are some states that don't have taxes, but this could also kind of push and force those states that don't have state taxes to actually implement state taxes in order to pay for all this stuff. Unless there again, I think he even adds at some point that the states could just decide not to do it, which is fine. But then you've got people just out there not getting any assistance at all, and you're, I mean, this is not that's not really looking good for Republicans overall, because the ones who won't help who would decide not to help would be the Republican states. The Democratic states will find ways to fund and help people as much as they possibly could, because that's the ideology behind the core base of democracy and the Democrats in general. But the Republicans, on the other hand, they're kind of that, pull yourself up by the bootstraps in other words, we don't want to help you. You shouldn't need to be helped. You should take care of shit on your own. And, if you're not doing that, then that's your problem. It's a very selfish, self-serving kind of thing. Like you can't, and it comes from that elitist sort of mind that, I was able to do it. Why can't you do it? When you actually may have just had it good to begin with, or whatever. Anyway, it's not the discussion really for this, but Federal Reserve shrink. The central bank missed bite inflation. Dart throwers could do better in its 400 PhDs, cut its funding. Now, the Federal Reserve, I could argue, I could understand. I feel like the Federal Reserve does need some sort of reformation of sorts, like this, I don't know how, or I don't know how to argue for what really needs to change about it, but there is some things about the Federal Reserve. I would even argue that the Federal Reserve could be completely gotten rid of, but possibly. But anyways, there's argument for both ways, and I kind of can understand both ways. Defense Department squeeze, reallocate spending to drones, ships, and defense systems such as Patriot missiles. Anti-missile defenses can be a giant export business. So in other words, sell all you can, like their argument for Israel and everything else, sell all the anti-missiles you can. But squeezing the Defense Department, that's interesting. I don't know if they're arguing to reduce the amount of money we allocate to the Defense Department, because that would probably get some frowns. But maybe how the Defense Department uses the money that's given to it, maybe that's the argument here. The U.S. Postal Service. The U.S. Postal Service, the big postal service that brings you most of your mail. Toss. End its monopoly on first and third class mail. Go private. Amazon trucks already come to most neighborhoods every day. So this guy is arguing for our regular mail to be handled by private companies like Amazon. Yes, Amazon trucks run all through every day of the week, all the time. But these people, the people that are hired by Amazon to do this stuff, they will lay your shit anywhere they want. We have had packages placed all over the place. I mean, there's no consistency in where and then you're going to argue that these people that are probably not even paid well enough for what they do, honestly. You're expecting them to like you're asking them to be even more professional and to actually like place stuff where they're supposed to be placed. I'm telling you, the idea is to privatize everything. Any way for some company to make shit tons of money. which means that your shipping cost and stuff is going to go up too. I guarantee you it will go up. So yeah, doing away with the U.S. Postal Service. Others tossed. Fracking happened despite the Energy Department. So I guess he's saying cut Energy Department. Trump tariffs will curtail imports so we can shrink the export-import bank by at least half. Tariffs will curtail imports so we can shrink the export-import bank by at least half. So basically, it'd just be an export bank. So he's thinking, his argument is Trump tariffs are going to reduce imports, so we're not going to be importing a whole lot of shit because it's going to cost too damn much to do it, which is kind of stupid because there's a lot of companies rely on imports, and not everything can be made here. So that's it's already a stupid argument for the tariffs to begin with. But this guy apparently doesn't care about that. Close the Small Business Administration, and what does the Commerce Department even do? Even more to toss, the Labor Department, union puppets. So yeah, he's anti-union clearly. Transportation departments, its mileage and electrical vehicle mandates kill Detroit. So do away with stop worrying about EVs and everything else. Although Mr. Musk may want to run the department himself, yeah, because he will try to do everything he can to help his EV market. So there's a complete contradictory argument for what he's trying to argue. Environmental Protection Agency reduce its carbon footprint, so just get rid of the EPA. Fuck environment. Deregulate it and get rid of it because it's pointless. We don't need to worry about the environment. The environment's, housing and urban development. It isn't the 70s anymore. Okay. So I guess I think I'm assuming the housing and urban development is like probably, I'm assuming it handles more like your low cost housing and stuff in urban areas or whatnot, or reduced cost living, low cost living, housing and stuff like that. So he's arguing to, apparently, I guess I'm thinking that's what that. I'm sure it has more than just that, but I'm assuming that's one part. That's something that it helps out. So if, don't help out anything like that. Again, he's probably wanting all that to be privatized. Interior outsource parks to Disney. Okay. I don't even understand that at all. Veteran affairs, can't they use the same hospitals as the rest of us, no matter who pays? So this guy is actually advocating for for veterans not even having their own hospitals and care specifically for them, because they who cares if they help, they served our country. They can go to the same hospitals as all the rest of us and have the waiting times and as all the rest of us. That's like one small, minute thing that we give our veterans to help them out, because a lot of them have more special needs as far as health care and stuff than the average person. And you can argue whether that's true or not, but yeah, especially mental health, even physical health, because of ailments and things that they acquired while serving our. It's like the most minute thing that you. And this dude's like, yeah, just fuck it, get rid of it. I know people who have been fired by Mr. Musk. He's ruthless. He often thinks he can do the job better himself, but it won't be easy. Even Mr. Musk admitted in October to the existence of strong antibodies against change. There will be an immense opposition, obviously, to making government more efficient with entrenched interests that currently benefit from sucking away vast amounts of taxpayer money. You can't just fire federal employees except for cause, but DOGE could urge Congress to eliminate departments and then offer to reallocate people who won't leave their jobs. RFK Jr. suggests Guam, at least for the Food and Drug Administration's nutritional scientist. I think that's a joke. I'm assuming that's a joke. So he's saying that all the nutritional scientists need to be sent to Guantanamo Bay. Most will quit. Besides shrinking the bureaucracy, there are other things DOGE can do. RFK is a fucking moron. I'm sorry. Digitize the entire government so every citizen can interact with the government via smartphone. American can hire the entire country of Estonia to implement it. I don't know how. The humor in this guy, I can't follow. It's like I don't. Yes, the Department of Government efficiently is probably a pipe dream and might end up as an essential as Monty Python's Department of Silly Walks. To make real spending cuts, Congress needs to reconfigure Social Security and Medicare, cut back payments to states, and shrink foreign aid. Now, this one I do agree with. Here, he's saying it's stop helping any states. Let's cut back Social Security and Medicare, because that's what he really means by reconfigure it. It's to cut it, because they think that that's the only way to do anything to help Social Security and Medicare is just to cut it. Make cuts to it. Let's don't find ways to help fund it, like, I don't know, taxing the fuck out of the rich. But no, they don't want anything to do with that. But even if Mr. Musk's DOGE simply trims some bloat and saves a few $100 billion, it will be worth it. So this is the kind of stuff that they're throwing around. And while some of this, maybe there's some decent arguments for at least sort of rearranging or changing some things that it does, perhaps. I mean, I'm sure that's always the case, because sometimes some of these agencies do things that maybe they don't necessarily need to do, or at least not the way they do it, maybe. I mean, there's probably an argument for each one of these agencies to have some sort of adjustments made to make them perform better or make them, work better in certain areas. But you're arguing these things as like, some of these is just like completely toss them, just completely get rid of them. They're completely worthless. And that's just silly. I'm not sure that you could really, that some of these departments really do good work, especially when the right people are controlling them. But this is the kind of mindset that the Elon Musk, shrink government kind of things, down to the point that everything is sent back to the states, that we don't really even have a government. I mean, it's almost an anti-government kind of thing. So the government's completely pointless, which then again, okay, then why do we even need a government? And the states just handle everything, which means, like I said, taxes will wind up going up in states, or the states that don't want to do that, they want to argue that, oh, we're not going to, raise your taxes because we know you're going to get pissed as hell at us. We're just going to cut all these programs. We're going to cut education. We're going to cut, any kind of help, assistance to you. We're going to cut all the, so people are going to be left out in the dark. We have a major amount of people under the poverty level. We have, a lot of our senior citizens and stuff. They don't require. I mean, they don't really have any kind of retirement, funding income or whatever, or what they do have really isn't enough to pay for the, if your argument was that we are going to reduce, if the argument was we want to cut like all of the assistance stuff, like we want to get to where you don't need the government help. In order like we want to cut all these things, so the government's not helping anybody. The government is just doing governmental things, and there's no assistance needed. And what little bit of assistance there is within the states. But in order to also us help you do that, we're going to start paying you properly. We're going to pay you a living wage. That way you're making more money and you're able to actually afford all these different things so that you don't need assistance. If that was the argument, that we're going to do all these different things to help you succeed in, financially, which a lot of this is, a lot of these different things is, that's where it helps a lot, is assistance in that. Then, I mean, I could see your argument that eventually you could get to the point where the government wouldn't need to assist that many people. There would be less people on Medicaid and Medicare, or kind of the welfare state argument. There would be less people on it because people are making more money, and so they're able to pay for more things without assistance, without help. But when you haven't raised the federal, minimum wage in fucking over 20 years, and you're arguing for cutting out all these assistance things, people are not making the money that they need in order to live because everything costs too damn much. I mean, you're in order to relieve or cut out things that assist people, you have to change the things, that you have to change the reason why they need assistance. And most of the time, the reasons why they need assistance is because they don't have enough original, like, currency, that they're, they don't have any, that they don't have that income necessary to sustain themselves without working multiple jobs, which then starts to hurt them mentally, physically, and everything else, which means they have to go to the hospital more. They have more injuries, more issues, more health issues, which, which just makes them spend even more money, which means they have less money. I mean, if you're not arguing for actually helping people where they would need the help in order to help them get off of assistance and things like that, then you're not making an argument. You're just saying fuck the people, and you can figure it out on your own. But in that a lot of times is the Republican argument. That's to pull yourself by your bootstraps. Stop being a pansy, stop being a whiny ass, and stop complaining that you don't have money, and go work your ass off. Spend all your time working so you don't have any time for your family or fun or whatever. I mean, that's what these people are about. That's what these people are about. But yeah, that's what this is. That's what it's gonna do. So anyway, so thank you very much, and I don't know. We're gonna see what's gonna happen here. So we're gonna see. Thank you very much. Till next time. Peace. Clear Talk. I'm out.